Yo guys, welcome back to the channel. We are in beautiful Buenos Aires. I spent 1 week in Paraguay, 1 week in India, and I'm finally back home. And since it's been a while that I was showing you a little bit of the life in Buenos Aires, the downtown areas, what's good to see, I want to do this video while telling you my experience in India, what's up on the business side of things, and also show a little bit of Buenos Aires downtown. So we're gonna go to the Obelisco and discuss everything. Let's go. So if you're new to the channel, I'm building a functional chewing gum brand for the US market, but I live here in Latin America, so this channel is partly about, you know, being out here as an expat and also about the business. And I went to Paraguay to collect my samples. There's a video about that and the whole experience in Paraguay. There's also another video about India, but that's only a daily vlog. And I've actually totally spent 1 week there. And to sum up my experiences, India is a totally different world. Like it's been a totally different experience than any other place I've been to in my life. The level of poverty, the level of dirt in the city, it's just unmatched. And compared to that, Paraguay or Argentina are total VIP experiences. And I'm only saying this because in Europe, these places are all regarded as third world, but the infrastructure both in Paraguay or in Buenos Aires, they are perfect. Obviously, I'm mostly in the capital of these countries, but New Delhi is also the capital of India, so for this reason, it should really be a little bit better. So what you need to know about New Delhi is that that city has 34 million people living there. Argentina, the total country, has 39, and there's just too many people in one little place. And I feel like economic development is impossible when you have so many people stuffed in one little place. We'll see. I was actually looking at some graph that said that India has the largest expected GDP growth for the next 2 years. I mean, we'll see, but the level of poverty, again, it's very sad. And what also struck me is that how old school that society is, where, you know, if you are in the lower end and you do some sort of lower level job, there could be somebody working in a hotel or even an Uber driver. They literally kind of treat you like you are some kind of lord to them. And for me, it was very much out of place. Like I felt like, you know, me coming from Europe, where there is, generally speaking, equality, that Indian society for me felt more like there's still this system of castes. It was very out of place for me. I didn't really feel at home, and I'm very happy to be back to Argentina. It's going to be exciting to give you a little bit of a rundown on everything that has happened in this past 2-3 weeks. Here we are. This is one of the main squares of the city. This is the Obelisco, one of the great monuments of the city. If you're seeing any sort of videos about Buenos Aires, they normally show this and another square that I will show you at the end of this video. So this monument was built to commemorate the 400-year anniversary of the foundation of the city. People usually didn't like it at the beginning because it reminded them of a human organ, but now I think it became part of the culture. Every time the Argentine national team wins something, like they won the Copa Mundial, the World Cup, and Copa America last year in October, everybody on the streets comes here and celebrates at the Obelisco. So it's you know, this gathering point in the city, which is pretty cool. That's about the history of the city. We came here to grab some Medialunas, and I'll give you the rundown on the business. By the way, where we are, this part of the city looks like Piccadilly Circus or Times Square in New York, but in the heart of Latin America, so it's a little different. But you have all these like billboards and stuff. I'm not really a fan of it, but it's an emblematic of a modern city. Here we are at the coffee shop. These are Medialunas. This is like the Argentine croissant. It has a little more sugar and less butter. I normally don't really eat pastries, but you know, this is part of the Argentine lifestyle, so man's gotta do what man's gotta do, only for the content. Just gonna finish these and then give you the rundown. So guys, with regards to the functional chewing gums, that's the main reason why I started this channel, to document the journey of building this new business. And I went to Paraguay, you can see the video, I went to Paraguay to get my sample products. These are the first gums that our supplier has produced with our own unique formulas. This is a new formula, this is something they haven't done before. So for this reason, they really had to do some tests, some R&D procedure. The gums were fine, very good both from a flavor and an effect perspective. However, after a few days, our supplier reached out to us saying that there are some brown dots appearing on the coat of the gum. Reason being, one of the ingredients that we picked is interacting probably with the coating of the gum, and they don't know what would be the long-term implications of this. And at the same time, after about a week and a half, I started noticing that the gum becomes a little more watery in my mouth, so that really disrupted the quality. And it's the same thing. It's basically we are using some sort of electrolyte as part of the ingredients, and our supplier thinks that that's the reason why we are having these issues. So they are running some tests and trying to confirm which is the ingredient that is causing this, and we will have to change the formula. But this has been going on for 2 weeks and it's really slowing things down. I can't really finalize the packaging while we are having these issues because you know, the supplement fact table is not finalized, and we are also showing the ingredients on the frontal label of the packaging. So it's really slowing things down. But in the meantime, there's another major component to this project, which is the packaging. And the packaging doesn't just have the supplement facts table and the ingredients, it has to be aesthetically good as well. And we already had a design that was approved by myself, but I had some conversations with a couple of friends, Northern Americans for the most part, because they have a lot more understanding of the local market, and I wanted to get their feedback on the packaging design that we had. And it was a little bit overly sporty, so I went back to the designer and asked him to modify it. And actually for the first time, I'm going to show you the design that we had and the design that we modified. So this was the design that we had for a few months. This was our final approved design, and I asked the designer to modify it. I felt like this is a little bit overly sporty, and instead of that, this is what we have. You will see that this is a lot more smart, and basically the reason why the change is there, I call it a focus gum, not really an energy gum, and I want it to mostly target entrepreneurs, active individuals, and not necessarily that highly functional sports people. I want to make that part of the brand, but I mostly want this product to be supplement for coffee, and for this reason I feel like entrepreneurs is a much better audience, also because it's you know, an audience where I'm coming from, and I know the value that this product brings. And one other thing that we managed to get done is the boxes themselves. So the pouches will go into these boxes that are uniquely designed, and as you will see right there, it's there's the whole packaging experience. You open it up and you take the gums out. Obviously we're going to have our own gums there, but I wanted to make sure that we are making a packaging and unboxing experience, because really in e-commerce, the unboxing experience, the delivery is part of the product experience. It's part of how you present the product, what the customers are getting, and part of the experience really. In any sort of e-commerce, but especially in dietary supplements, I feel like the packaging is one of the most important things. So at least on this regard, we had some progress, but really having these difficulties on the ingredient side of things, it's really annoying me a lot, because to be perfectly honest, I thought that by this time, these products would be out on the market. I started working on this project last May. Obviously it took some months to even just get to familiarize myself with the industry, but I thought that by this time we would be out there on the market. And I feel like every time we make some progress on either one of these fronts, because they interact so much, we can't really reach momentum. But the way I'm thinking about it is really twofold. First of all, you have to be patient with the results and impatient with the actions. And if you reach a certain point where you can't really put in actions, then there's nothing really that you can do. And the other thing is, whatever project that you do, whether you know, you're building a business, you're already out there with your product and you're having some sort of failures, there's always going to be some sort of downside and some sort of pain. And sometimes the pain is not the failure itself, sometimes the pain is not being able to progress. But you have to cope with that pain, you have to cope with that stress, because at the end of the day, somewhere, you know, in the future, or forward in your timeline, is going to make you better. So right now the pain that I'm experiencing is really this lack of momentum, this lack of progression, but you know, there's a teaching there, and I guess that to be more patient and to really nail down all the other side of the things. So I'm doing some sort of research on, you know, finding future influencers that we can work with. I'm doing some work on the back end on the website, and anything that can be done in the background, those things will be done, and by the time we launch we will be ready. For you to see how difficult it is to put together a dietary supplement project and how the project's different elements are interacting, the next video that I'm doing is going to be about exactly this. So make sure that you check it out if you're also planning to get into this segment. It's a lot more complex than most people think because of all these interacting elements, the packaging, the regulations, the ingredients, the main value that you're bringing to the market. So that video will explain it in detail. This was it for today. We're gonna go to one more spot, my favorite building in Buenos Aires, and then it's going to be a goodbye. So the final stop that we came to, this is Teatro Colón. This is my favorite building in the whole of Buenos Aires. I think it's beautiful. For me, like, this building could be, you know, the opera house in Budapest, Paris. Like, honestly, this city has one of the best architecture in Latin America. People are super kind, the food is amazing, women are beautiful, and you know, you just feel like there is freedom in the air. With this great architecture, like, it feels like a mix of Latin America and Europe. That's the main reason why I love it. So if you can, make sure that you come here, you check it out, you have to see it for yourself. If you can, also go to a play, because it's a huge interior, very classy, great place. So behind me, this is still Teatro Colón, but if I walk a little bit this way, this is one of the other most famous landmarks of Buenos Aires. This square is usually in those little footages that they show you of Buenos Aires downtown. That's the judicial building, that's where the court hearings happen. This square is on the weekends full of people who are getting their mate, and it's just good vibes. One of the reasons why this is one of my favorite areas is because of the great architecture, and it's just a nice place to come to chill. Buenos Aires has it all. This behind me is the proof. And as a final word, if you have some sort of project that you're working on, don't forget that there's always going to be some sort of pain. Be patient with the results and impatient with your actions. I'll see you in the next one.
Found my love in Portofino, perché nei sogni credo ancora, lo strano gioco del destino a Portofino.